Did he succeed? Successfully. It is said that the thief had 8 hands, and he subdued him and took him away. Damn! So fierce. All the players on the side of the exiled immortal were shocked. Originally, they thought that the NPC was so wretched that it was impossible to be caught. But when Shadow came, he really surrendered. That's good. The exiled immortal smiled faintly. I heard that the Shudaoshan Guild paid a price for Shadow's action this time, so we still have to thank them. A young man with yellow teeth next to him laughed. That's right. Why don't we discuss with them and give them one of the golden boss summoned by the golden magic talisman? A middle-aged fat mage next to him laughed. I'm afraid they won't accept it. It's so funny. And you want to buy our golden magic talisman at a low price. You're dreaming. Golden magic talisman. This is a special gold level item. You can carry it with you to kill monsters and convert experience points into energy. You can accumulate energy once a day and consume all the energy to summon a gold level boss. For Qinfeng, this thing is useless, because this thing consumes a lot of experience. It will affect your development if you carry it yourself. If you let others carry it to brush the boss, the level of the summoned boss will be very low, which is completely unnecessary. For Qinfeng, it is just a gold level boss, and there is no need to look for it deliberately. But this thing is very useful for any guild at this stage. And originally, this thing should be a reward for the exploration of ruins by the Shudaoshan Guild. As a result, the Shudaoshan Guild was fighting the final boss in the ruins. But the exiled immortal took the opportunity to plunder several rooms behind the boss and got the golden magic talisman from them. The people of Shudaoshan did see it, but at that time, they were held back by the boss and could not stop it at all. They could only watch the spoils being taken away, so how could they swallow this? Of course, the two guilds were both strong, so in order to avoid affecting innocent people, the Shudaoshan Guild did not launch a large-scale guild war, but planned to take some measures to negotiate first, even let the official take the lead and wanted to pay some life to buy the golden magic talisman. Although the price was not high, the exiled immortals also made money. It's a pity. The exiled immortals didn't give face at all. The exiled immortal also said frivolously, "We got the treasure by our own ability. How can you buy it at a low price? Otherwise, Juzi, you come to our hiding place alone and have a meal with me. I can consider it. This is obviously teasing. I don't eat bamboo." Just when the Shudaoshan Guild was considering other solutions, Hanfeng happened to come over. The Stealing Saint Talisman is a good solution. It will not cause a large-scale battle, and it can take back what belongs to them. Although it is a bit expensive, as long as it can be obtained, the Shudaoshan Guild will still make money in the end. The most important thing is that it can vent its anger. At this time, after Qinfeng helped take the Stealing Saint away, the exiled immortal and everyone in his guild were all happy. That little bitch must be looking very unhappy now. Right? Of course, she paid a price to get rid of the NPC, and she ended up helping us. Haha! Brothers can come here to level up in the future. Don't worry about being stolen. That little bitch is really a good person. The exiled immortal listened to everyone's chat with a faint smile on his face. It just so happens that I found a wild gold boss before, but I haven't beaten it yet. I'm afraid that the loot will be stolen after the fight. Now I can take action. I'll go back to the hideout to sort out my backpack and take the brothers out to have fun. They left the Yuling dungeon and returned to one of the gold level hideouts. This hideout is a Taoist temple built on a platform halfway up a mountain. The exiled immortal rode a yellow chocobo mount, although he was just an ordinary swordsman. His output was much higher than that of ordinary players because of his platinum level combo talent. In his guild, he is the brightest guy, always surrounded by many female players. After all, he is the strongest player in the guild and the owner of the hideout. Every time he defeats a boss, his output is more than 50% higher than others. However, suddenly, just when he was riding on his chocobo mount and was about to lead people back to the Yuling dungeon, ding! Player Indian Old Dove Shudao Mountain used the Stealing Saint Talisman on you. You lost the Mount Bell Yellow Earth Chocobo. The Chocobo mount under the feet of the exiled immortal disappeared all of a sudden, and he fell to the ground with a confused look on his face. What's going on? What the hell is the Stealing Saint Talisman? He hurriedly opened his backpack to check, and found that his Mount Bell was really gone. He was just about to open his backpack to use the item Visibility Dust that can reverse invisibility. As a result, ding! Player A Airport Mom Rabbit Head Shootout Mountain used the Stealing Saint Talisman on you. You lost the Visibility Dust. Ding! Player, don't waste it. Let me take advantage of it. Shudo Mountain used the Stealing Saint Talisman on you. You lost the Element Enhancement Potion. Ding! Player, I have depression. You go first. Shudao Mountain used the Stealing Saint Talisman on you. You have lost the Half Mountain Taoist Temple Hideout Key. Almost at the same time, the sound of ding 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 continued in the mind of the exiled immortal, and the items in his storage backpack disappeared in an instant at lightning speed. The exiled immortal was sweating all over. He shouted in panic, "Anti-stealth. Turn on the anti-stealth skill." The men next to him watched his mount Chocobo suddenly disappear, thinking he was playing something new. Hearing him shout, they realized that something seemed wrong. Swish. A female player following behind him raised her hand and released a light ball skill. Under the illumination of the light ball, several players around him emerged from their invisible state. A total of 6 or 7 assassin players from the Shudaoshin Guild were all invisible and surrounded the exiled immortal. Since this guy had just come out of his hiding place, it was the time when he was most relaxed, so he chose to act at this time. There is another reason. The exiled immortal had just led people back to the hideout, so he must have thrown all the unimportant things on him back to the hideout for storage. So he must have very few things on him. As for the golden magic talisman, he must have carried it with him because he had to absorb experience to summon the gold level boss. Originally, the Shudao Mountain Guild just wanted to get the golden magic talisman back, but unexpectedly, there was an unexpected gain. Mount Bell, the golden magic talisman is also in hand. Follow me quickly. I got the key to this hideout. Follow me directly into the hideout. Before the exiled immortal and his friends could react, the assassin players of Shudao Mountain flashed into the hideout behind them. Among them, there were 6 or 7 assassins who were exposed, and more than 10 assassins with higher stealth levels who were not exposed. One by one, they released skills such as sprinting and flashing, and entered the hideout in a flash. Then, more than 100 players in the hideout of this half-mountain Taoist temple were all forcibly driven out and teleported outside the Taoist temple. The exiled immortal and his guild members all looked at each other in bewilderment. As the exiled immortal watched this scene, his mind suddenly turned. He had lost everything. The Saint Stealer Talisman. What the hell was that? Originally, when players went to the Yuling dungeon to level up, they would not bring many things with them. For example, the Mount Bell, the hideout key, and the same is true for the exiled immortal. He used to store these things in the box in the hideout, but it will bring some inconvenience. For example, without the Mount Bell, it will take more than half an hour to go to the Yuling dungeon. Another example is the hideout key. As the owner of the hideout, you can perform relevant operations on the hideout within the range of the hideout, but you can also make a new key and carry it to operate the hideout outside, or trade the key to others to transfer the hideout authority. Now, after learning that the Shadow had taken away the Thief Saint, the exiled immortal no longer needed to worry about this. For convenience, he brought everything he could use with him, including the golden magic talisman. So, he was directly caught by the players of the Shudaoshin Guild. You are despicable. After realizing what happened, the exiled immortal cursed. In the guild channel, he explained to the guild members, the people of Shudao Mountain Guild have no martial ethics. They use the Stealing Saint Talisman to steal my Mount Bell, hideout key, and golden magic talisman. For a while, many players who were forcibly driven out of their hideouts were all indignant. Shudao Mountain Guild, Stealing Saint Talisman, so shameless. Fuck you. Come out. I'll beat you to death. What's going on? I was in my room, changing clothes, and suddenly I felt a chill. Give me back my innocence. Give us back our things. At this time, more than 20 assassins of the Shudao Mountain Guild appeared on the courtyard wall of the Taoist temple halfway up the mountain. They were all smiling across the magic defense barrier that now belonged to them. The leader, the middle-aged man named Indian Old Dove, said with a smile, "We got the treasure with our own ability. How can we return it to you?" Hearing this, the exiled immortal immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Did his boomerang hit his head? At this time, Lanfeng was riding Osiris with the bamboo girl, soaring in the sky. Wow, it's so comfortable to ride a flying dragon. The bamboo girl was excited and jumped on Osiris's back. Suddenly, Osiris said with a puzzled look, "What the hell is she talking about?" Obviously, this guy was indoctrinated with the Daxia language, but he couldn't understand Mandarin and dialect. The girl, I don't eat bamboo, was frightened by this guy. Hey, it can talk. Osirio, why? You haven't seen a talking dragon. You are ignorant? The bamboo girl laughed, as expected of you. You are the Shadow Brother. Even your mount can talk. Hey, Dragon Brother, what do you think of me? Osirio sneered. My evaluation is that it is not as good as the original. The bamboo girl. What? You also play the original. Osirio was stunned. What do you mean by playing the original? Don't interrupt me. I mean, you are not as good as those women in the past. You look fleshless, and according to human aesthetics, you are too thin. The bamboo girl did not look unhappy at all, but was more interested in Osirio. I look fleshless, but you really are fleshless. My little brother. She patted the white bone feathers on Osirio's back, as if she had found a fun toy. Osirio looked disdainful. Just now I called you Brother Feilong, but now you're my little brother. Bamboo girl. Oh, this is the breadth and depth of our Daxia language? If you want to learn, I can teach you. Qinfeng was a little surprised. It seems that these two are quite compatible. At this time, the girl seemed to have received some private messages, and she replied and dealt with them a little bit. Brother Shadow, thank you so much. The girl looked at Qinfeng, her beautiful eyes full of admiration. We have solved the problem? Then she told Qinfeng about the situation. Lanfeng nodded, not caring much. The value of the Mount Bell and the hideout key is actually just that. After all, it is only a gold level hideout, which is about the size of a football field. At this stage, a guild like the Exiled Immortal, although it does not have a platinum level hideout, generally has several gold level hideouts. Otherwise, it cannot accommodate so many members. To be honest, the Shudaoshan Guild's move, apart from the Golden Magic Talisman, basically just recovered its cost. The Thief Saint Talisman can only be used in a targeted manner in the later stage to achieve the greatest effect. Of course. Now, the 8-armed Thief Saint has been taken over by Qin Feng, was repatriated to the Evil Spirit Academy. The NPCs belonging to his guild can only be repatriated to his guild's hideout, which is the Evil Spirit Academy in the ruins of the Demon City. And without Qin Feng's consent, the NPC cannot leave the hideout. In the future, just sell the Stealing Saint Talisman directly to the official. Qin Feng is not worried about sales. This thing is very useful to the official, and there is no need to worry about causing chaos when it is used by the official. Besides, even if the official uses it, it has nothing to do with him. After discussing with the official, he can get a stable income channel. As Osiris flew, he greeted the Bamboo Girl. Their destination is another mountain range more than 300 kilometers outside the Sichuan and Shu Ruin, where the Eye of Knowledge Aristotle is. Qin Feng has prepared classic curse quotes from various provinces to ensure that he will not disappoint the Big Eyes. Originally wanted to take the Big Eyes away in return. Suddenly, Qin Feng heard a disgusting sound of quack quack coming from the jungle below. Such a loud noise. Could it be some boss? Qin Feng glanced at his skill bar. The skill Robbery Master he just learned has not evolved much, and it is just when he is short of evolution points since he has encountered it. He can't miss it. Go down and take a look. Qin Feng gave Osirio an order. Osirio glided down quickly, and the body of the giant bone sword Pterosaur brought a stream of white light and swooped down. As he got closer, Qin Feng finally saw. There was a dark green giant Toadman chasing a group of players. Toad Demon, Quack Leader Love Twang. Grade. Emerald Grade. Introduction. The leader of the Toadman tribe in the Banana Jungle. The Toad Demon was surrounded by a black aura, more than 10 meters tall, and stood up. His toad eyes were locked on a fleeing female player. Swish. The Toad Demon opened his mouth, and a dark green tongue protruded, which directly wrapped around the waist of the female player and brought her back to his mouth. At this moment, a young swordsman wearing platinum armor appeared, looking for death. The young swordsman saw that a female player was trapped, and immediately took action, as if his feet were greased, bursting out with unparalleled speed. And the long sword in his hand released a half-moon-shaped sword energy. The 9-layer half-moon sword energy swept across and actually cut off the dark green tongue of the Toad Demon. Then, the young swordsman quickly stepped forward and took the opportunity to hold the female player back. How did this happen? Qin Feng was stunned when he saw this scene. That female player is not worth saving. He really wanted to tell the young swordsman that saving everything would only hurt you. During Osiris's flight, the young swordsman had completed the rescue and took the female mage player hundreds of meters away. Obviously, the young swordsman did not intend to attack the Toad Demon. After all, the Emerald level boss is not something that players at this stage can fight head on. What's more, the Toad Demon is surrounded by dark magic energy, which is obviously a higher level affix representing nightmare energy. In other words, as long as you get close to the Toad Demon, the nightmare scale will be stacked, and being hit by its skills will also stack the nightmare scale. At this moment, the rescued female player is surrounded by black nightmare energy, which lasts for a long time. The female player is good looking, wearing a black robe, and it seems that she got separated from her teammates during the escape, and there are many players leveling up nearby. After she was rescued, the young swordsman ran away with her in his arms so fast that the Toad Demon did not chase them, but attacked other players who were running around until hundreds of meters later. The young swordsman put her down. The distance is far enough. The Toadman should not be able to catch up. The young swordsman breathed a sigh of relief and turned to leave. But suddenly, stop. A cold voice came from behind him. It was the female mage player. She looked angry and contemptuous. You took advantage of me, and you want to leave like this? How can it be so easy? At the same time, 5 male players came out of the banana forest next to them and looked at the female mage player with concern. Qing King, are you okay? I'm fine, but this person took advantage of me. The female mage player looked angry, as if she had suffered unimaginable humiliation. The young swordsman was confused. Sister, if it weren't for me, you would have been swallowed by the boss and fell into a nightmare. The female player sneered. Put aside the fact that you saved me. Don't I have legs? Can't I run away if I save myself? You held me forcibly for so long. If you don't want to take advantage of me, what else can you do? The young swordsman had a headache. Sister, if you could run away by yourself, you wouldn't be caught up by the boss. I'm not thinking that you run slowly, so I'll take you to a safe place first. At this time, the young swordsman also realized that something was wrong. Obviously, he saved this woman, but the woman felt that he was taking advantage of her. It's like being bitten by a dog, but there's no way to bite back. Very aggrieved. Boy, your hands are not clean, right? At this time, the 5 male players next to the female player all sneered and surrounded the young swordsman. Our Qing Qing, of course, is protected by us. What's your business? That's right. Who do you think you are? And how dare you take advantage of Qing Qing? They looked fierce and unfriendly, as if they were about to take action. The young swordsman was not to be trifled with, and sneered. I have never seen such a licking dog like you. You are so awesome. Then where were you when she was about to be swallowed by the boss? When these words came out, the 5 young men were a little embarrassed. Just now, when they saw the Emerald boss appear, they turned around and ran away in fear, leaving behind the slowest running female mage. When they were safe, they looked around and found that their Ching Ching was actually held in the arms of a young swordsman, which made them all furious. Stop talking nonsense. You are disrespectful to Ching Ching today. It is a great sin. King King is my goddess. Woo. You actually touched her with your dirty hands. Die for me. After the 5 young men found their positions, they smiled at each other and immediately attacked with various skills. In an instant, the young swordsman's eyes flashed fiercely, and he swung his long sword, and the cold sword light swept across the banana forest. Sure enough, they fought. Qin Feng looked at this scene and shook his head secretly. The young swordsman was very strong. Very strong. The female mage named Ching Ching plus 5 liquors were not the opponent of the young swordsman. In the previous life, Qin Feng had heard about this incident, but he didn't expect to witness it with his own eyes today. If nothing unexpected happened, the young swordsman won this battle, fighting 6 people alone, and directly killed the 6 people back home. But the final outcome was something the young swordsman never expected, because the female mage named Ching Ching couldn't swallow this breath. She exaggerated the incident and posted it online, accusing the young swordsman of disrespecting women, harassment, and other unforgivable crimes. So, the young swordsman was killed immediately. He was also criticized by a large number of righteous people, encirclement, and suppression. Even his guild kicked him out to prove that this was just his personal behavior and had nothing to do with the guild. Qin Feng didn't know what the final result was. After all, he didn't pay attention to this kind of gossip. But no matter what happened to the young swordsman in the end, he was stigmatized for saving people, which was unfair. What's more, it was later reported from somewhere that the reason why Ching Ching said he was harassing was just because he was not handsome. Otherwise, he would definitely stick to him. Although I don't know if this is true. But you can imagine how much of a critical blow this would cause to the young swordsman. And at this time, the young swordsman codenamed Su Muje was directly besieged by 5 young men from the other side, and even the female mage Ching Ching he had just saved also attacked. Ridiculous. Su Muje sneered, and the sword light was sharp. He usually played alone, so his strength was naturally much stronger than that of ordinary players. He often encountered some players who wanted to bully him because he was the only one, but he killed them in no time. He believed in a principle that the only way to defeat martial arts in the world is to be fast. Sometimes he even felt that even the world's #1 shadow should be slightly stronger than him. Not much stronger. The reason why he was able to kill so many bosses first was just because he could be invisible. At this time, just when Su Muje wanted to kill all 6 people, boom! The ground around them suddenly shook, accompanied by a white, streamlined bone sword pterosaur. It fell from the sky and landed in the middle of them, separating them from each other. The dark green dragon pupils of the bone sword pterosaur were cold and indifferent. It casually patted its white bone dragon claws and shook the 6 people away. What about licking Jian bitch? I can't stand it. Didn't you say you would protect your Ching Ching? Come on, protect her. A girl's contemptuous voice came from the dragon's back. It was, I don't eat bamboo. At the same time, the 6 people who were blown away by Ching Ching were stunned for a moment. Is this Shadow's mount? But they didn't think about it, because they found in panic that the emerald level boss, the Toad Demon, who was surrounded by nightmare energy, was actually attracted to their side. Swish. The Toad Demon spit out a dark green tongue as soon as he opened his mouth, and once again rolled up the Ching Ching and sent it to his mouth. As for the fact that its tongue had been cut off just now, this is just the skill and mechanism of this bot, not its real tongue. As long as the cooling is over, it can be released again. Save me. Ching Ching didn't react at all, and immediately struggled in panic. Fuck. It's the emerald level Toad Demon. Run! Run! The 5 young men were so scared that they turned and ran away. How could they care about Ching Ching? The female mage saw this scene and was immediately full of questions. It's a pity. The 5 guys couldn't run away at all. After the Toad Demon stretched out its tongue and wrapped around the female mage, it slapped its green hands on the ground. Toad descendants. Just as the 5 young men were running away, a group of small toad people emerged from the mud, and all kinds of dark green tongues stretched out, sticking them on the spot. It was not until then that Qin Feng leisurely jumped off Osirio's back. That's right! This boss was deliberately lured by Qin Feng. This woman should be considered as repaying kindness with enmity, right? Although she is weak, she is repaying kindness with enmity after all. You can give it a try and see how much benefit you can get from the trial. In the scene where Qin Feng appeared, the young swordsman Su Muje was stunned instantly. Are you Shadow? Thank you. He realized that this legendary big man seemed to be here to help him. What a good person. You're welcome. Hein Feng's mouth curled up slightly, and he said lightly without looking back, I will help you deal with these 6 people and make them never appear again. But this will consume some life. Do you understand what I mean? The young swordsman is not a saint. He will help people within his ability. But since the other party repays kindness with enmity, there is no need for him to protect the other party. On the contrary, now he hopes that the 6 people are in trouble. Boss, do you have this trick? The young swordsman's eyes lit up. But he soon felt a little short of money. I only have 130 years of life left in my body. I wonder if it's enough. It's enough. Qin Feng nodded. Sending 6 people to the place of judgment only requires 60 years of life. Even if the judgment is added, it is only doubled. 20 years of life. This is an extra 10 years. Speaking of which, it is not easy for this kid to accumulate 130 years of life by solo. And he is definitely a strong man. So, Qin Feng casually threw the Shadow Blade at those people. Puff, puff, puff. The female mage who was swept away by the boss and the 5 young men who were entangled were killed in an instant. And then they were sent to the place of judgment, and there was not even a corpse left in the field, if Qin Feng were to say. Those who repay kindness with enmity are guilty. Dog lickers, no. Those who help the tyrants are also guilty. All raised together? The young swordsman who saw this scene took a breath of cold air. Isn't this too fierce? It's totally unreasonable. Although he was a little confused about where the 6 people were sent, he understood that this was not something he should care about. So he looked at the emerald level toad demon next to him, and said nervously, "Well, big brother, thank you very much. Let's find a safe place first and trade." He wanted to trade 130 years of life to Qin Feng. But Qin Feng was a little puzzled. A safe place. Isn't this place safe? The young swordsman had a question mark on his face. Brother, there is an emerald level boss next to him. Really? Qin Feng smiled. The young swordsman only saw the figure of Shadow disappear in front of him. And suddenly, the artistic sword light bloomed on the toad demon. 3 seconds later, boom! The blood bar on the toad demon's head disappeared instantly, and the mountain-like body fell down. Okay, it's gone now. After touching the boss's body, Qin Feng put away the spoils and walked back leisurely. Suddenly, the young swordsman was like a robot that had lost power, completely frozen in place. There is a boss. Unsafe. Well, now it is gone. Nah. What kind of divine damage is this? This is an emerald level boss with a mechanism and millions of HP. At this moment, the young swordsman's mind went blank, and he was in a mess in the banana forest. 3,000 words chapter. The young swordsman, Su Muje, finally realized how ridiculous his previous thoughts were. Is Shadow only a little bit stronger than him? It should be a little bit, right? That's emerald level. Just like that. It's gone. He stared blankly at the giant toad demon corpse lying on the ground, his mind a little dazed. This scene was too shocking and exaggerated for him. Qin Feng saw the man's expression, but didn't care much. In fact, let alone this kid. This scene would be extremely explosive, even if it was placed 9 years later in the previous life. Unless it is a low-level boss that is much lower than your level, otherwise, facing the emerald level boss of the same level, almost no one can solve it so easily. Brother. Qin Feng stepped forward and patted the young swordsman on the shoulder, finally letting him recover. Brother, please accept me as your disciple. The young swordsman immediately felt a surge of emotion, and he knelt down without hesitation and held Qin Feng's thigh. Qin Feng's expression remained unchanged. Give me your life first, Su Muje. You accept me as your disciple first. Qin Feng. You pay first, Su Muje kowtowed and said, please accept me as your disciple first. Qin Feng frowned slightly. To be honest, this guy is already a bit rude. If you have something to say, you can add a friend and talk slowly. What's the matter with holding the thigh and not letting go? Faced with this situation, Qin Feng still said calmly. Okay. As soon as this word came out, Su Muje was immediately happy. But then Qin Feng said, if you can catch my dart without dying, I will accept you as my disciple. As soon as the voice fell, Qin Feng raised his hand and fired a shadow blade without waiting for the other party to react. Puff! 130. 5L weak point attack. Qin Feng was not invisible at this time, but the young swordsman was just bowing. So he was like giving his back to Qin Feng. He just couldn't see Qin Feng. So Qin Feng triggered the 3-fold increase of his professional passive. If this was added with invisibility for a while, and then with the invisibility breaking attack, the damage would be at least 7 million. The young swordsman didn't react at all and died on the spot. You can't even catch my dart. Young people are not good. Practice more. Qin Feng sighed and said, oh my god. The young swordsman was in tears. He was shocked by Qin Feng's horrible damage, fell to the ground, and exploded a large life light ball. While waiting for resurrection, the young swordsman sighed. He just thought that this Shadow was really a good person. Now it seemed, good person. Whoever says that Shadow is a good person, he will be angry with him. As for Qin Feng, he only wanted to take the big-eyed NPC away, and of course, he was too lazy to waste time here. Before, he was willing to take Guiling with him, just because the little girl had a clean background and was strong enough, so it was easy to take her with him and she could help with things. But this young swordsman, to be honest, Qin Feng didn't know him at all. Who could bear to ask him to accept a disciple right away? What's more, what's the point of accepting this guy as a disciple? Even my closest relatives will dig out my eyes. It's even more impossible for me to keep someone I don't know at all around me. Even now, Qin Feng still has some precautions against Guiling. Although he treats her well, he usually tries to have as little contact with her as possible. And at this time, Qin Feng saw the life light ball that burst out from the young swordsman in front of him, and he knew something was wrong at a glance. I originally thought that if you don't hand over your life, I will take it myself. As a result, this guy's lifespan alone is more than 130 years. Qin Feng silently absorbed the lifespan that exploded, and found that the total lifespan was 158 years. In other words, he originally had a total lifespan of 316 years, not just 130 years as he said. This kid is not honest. Qin Feng shook his head. If he keeps such a person by his side, He may explode at any time in play, digging a hole for himself. Qianfeng shook his head. He glanced at the body of the young swordsman, turned around and jumped on Osirio's back. In the final analysis, the young man did not provoke him. Although he was not very honest, Qianfeng did not use the flower curse to deal with him. Get what you should get and leave directly. As for the extra 28 years, just treat it as the interest of wasting your time. This toad demon gave a total of 420 evolution points. You can evolve the Snatcher 7 times. Qianfeng let Osirio take off and continue to fly to the destination. Then open the skill panel. Found 2 Snatching Master skills side by side. Evolve in succession. You have consumed 2 plus 3 plus 5 Apes on 3 plus 34 evolution points. And there are 335 points left. Snatching Master Normal Arrive Epic. Use on a single target only for monsters. Permanently steal 1 point of the target's random 4-dimensional attribute. Required level 1. Cooldown 24 Arrive 12 2. 56 hours. Attribute points obtained through this skill. 10 Arrive 50. Each time this skill was evolved before, the upper limit of the attribute points that can be obtained was increased by 5 points, only when it was upgraded to the epic level. Not only did it increase the attribute upper limit by 10 points at a time, but it also shortened the cooldown time by half. The basic cooldown was shortened from the original 24 hours to the current 12 hours. Under the 369% cooling speed effect of Qianfeng's Ancient God Curse Slab, it is almost 2.5 hours. Qianfeng is already very satisfied with this effect. After all, it's just a level 1 skill. If a level 1 player steals all the attribute points through this skill, it will be a full 100 attribute points. You know, the initial 4-dimensional attribute of a level 1 player is 10 points. This 100-point attribute, even if it is evenly distributed to each attribute, there are 25 points. The strength improvement brought by this skill can be imagined. If this skill is upgraded to level 20, stealing all the attributes will be 2,000 attribute points, even if it is averaged to 1 attribute. There are 500 points, and Qianfeng's current attributes are basically only about 1,000 points. The skill effect of this stealing Saint Hand is already quite terrifying. Not to mention, this is only at the epic level. I hope that when it evolves to the legendary level or even the mythical level, some amazing special effects can be derived. The next evolution requires 550 evolution points, which is not too slow. Qianfeng is not in a hurry and plans to wait until he gets back. At this time, Osirio was carrying him and I don't eat bamboo, and was close to the destination. It was a bamboo forest in the valley, but to enter the valley, you need to pass through a Bagua Formation. It was the existence of the Bagua Formation that prevented others from discovering the big-eyed NPC, and the way to walk in the Bagua Formation was cracked by the old sword fairy. Now, Qianfeng has the bamboo girl with him, so he doesn't have to learn about Bagua or anything like that. Just let the girl take him in. Xiao, let me ask you again. Do you know why centenarians are so long-lived? The bamboo girl was squatting on Osirio's back, talking happily. Osirio sneered. Do you think I'm mentally retarded? Because those who are not long-lived will not live to be 100 years old. Wow. Xiao, you are a genius. By the way, you humans on Blue Star are really pitiful, Osirio said with a tut. Before accessing the godforsaken game, lifespan was so short that even 100 years could be considered longevity. Qianfeng naturally didn't bother to pay attention to this kind of daily complaints. When he was about to reach the end, Qianfeng slightly consolidated the knowledge of swearing from various provinces to ensure that there would be no problems later. As for the 6 guys who were sent to the Land of Judgment, let's talk about it after taking Big Eyes away. As a result, when he came to his senses, he heard the bamboo girl, who seemed to be discussing some strange topics with Osirio. Xiao, you said your master is so powerful. Will he be powerful in that aspect too? The bamboo girl asked curiously. What is this girl talking about? Osirio, I don't know. What is chess? I have never seen a human assassin playing chess. Oh, Qianfeng suddenly realized. So they were talking about chess. I thought it was chess. Bamboo girl. No. Why do you keep calling me a human assassin? Will you die if I call you master? Osirio. Yes. Dear. Bamboo girl. Then what do you want to do to lower your proud head? Osirio. When the human assassin fulfills his promise. Bamboo girl. Oh, did Big Brother promise you something? Osirio. He said that when he finds a wife, he will help me find a mother dragon. How about you come and be his wife? Bamboo girl. At this time, Qianfeng coughed twice. Ahem. We are almost there. Right? So soon. We are almost there. Just in front. After hearing what Qianfeng said, the bamboo girl stood up and looked at it, nodding repeatedly. Qianfeng glanced at her, shook his head and smiled. You two really get along well. I have no doubt that if you stay with it for a while longer, you can kidnap it. The bamboo girl giggled. That's not the case. As for helping to find the mother dragon, you are definitely better at it. Big brother. Qianfeng held his forehead. This girl, she is really EQ and good at talking. Soon, the two jumped off the dragon's back and walked towards the bamboo-covered valley in front. Big brother, it will take about half an hour to break this Bagua Formation. Before the bamboo girl went in, she said, there will be a few gold bosses during this period if you can kill them. Help kill them. Okay. Qianfeng nodded. A gold level boss? Wouldn't that just give him evolution points? As for taking half an hour to break the formation, Qianfeng would not waste time. So he said, since it takes half an hour, can you tell me about the NPC? Bamboo girl. That's no problem. Both parties stepped into the Bagua Formation in the valley together. When the two entered, The surrounding scene suddenly changed. Qinfeng found that he came to a sky platform surrounded by clear sky, and there was a teleportation formation in the middle of the platform. He didn't know where the teleportation formation led to. This Bagua formation is adjusted through the hexagrams on the platform, as well as the attributes and skills of the monsters that appear. By adjusting the teleportation formation, you can reset the destination of the teleportation formation and lead to different platforms. You need to pass through the 8 platforms in order and correctly, and finally reach the deep bamboo forest in the valley where the Eye of Knowledge is located. Bamboo Girl explained seriously. Although Qinfeng didn't understand, he began to observe according to what she said. At the same time, he was a little strange. There shouldn't be any levels related to culture in this godforsaken game. Why is there a Bagua formation level? Could it be the level set by the Eye of Knowledge? Aristotle. Soon. The Bamboo Girl told Qinfeng about the NPC while waiting for the monsters on the platform to refresh. Every time a monster refreshed, Qinfeng would shoot it to death with a shadow blade. Hey, brother, slow down. I have to see what attributes these monsters use to determine how to adjust the destination of the teleportation array. The Bamboo Girl didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay. Qinfeng nodded obediently. There's no way. The girl is an expert in this area. We have to listen to her. However, Qinfeng soon discovered that the platform he was on was the platform corresponding to the Qinghua in the Bagua. In other words, if a monster with water skills appears, then the destination of the teleportation array should be adjusted to the platform of Kanshui in the Bagua. But Qinfeng soon discovered that it was not that simple. The monsters that appeared around could actually use various skills: water, fire, thunder, wind, everything. This made Qinfeng, who was eager to learn, a little confused. How could he judge this? Which platform should we go to next? As if she had noticed Qinfeng's confusion, the Bamboo Girl covered her mouth and chuckled. Brother, these monsters not only have to look at their attributes, but also at the direction where they appear. It's very complicated. Yes, Qinfeng could only say that you are awesome. Then I'll just be responsible for killing monsters. Qinfeng shook his head and gave up learning. JPG. So, while the two waited for the monsters to refresh, the girl looked at the mechanism and told Qinfeng about the big-eyed NPC. So, Qinfeng soon learned about the encounter between the old sword fairy and the Bamboo Girl with the NPC. It will ask questions about any problem in the Daxia text, although it can provide double experience increase. You need to answer a series of questions to get the qualification. How strong is this guy's thirst for knowledge? After a long time, it seems that it is an NPC with a strong thirst for knowledge. So, Qinfeng seems to understand a little bit. Could it be that the old swordsman scolded it for half an hour, making it realize the poverty of its knowledge? Did it realize the profoundness of the great Jia dialect? So it followed back to the guild hideout. This possibility, it's quite high. However, with Qinfeng's current strength, there are many ways to make this NPC curious. Of course, I have learned so many curse words, it would be a waste if I don't scold him. Qinfeng must scold that guy first. Just then, the Bamboo Girl shouted, "Boss, I have read the mechanism of this platform. I am ready to start the boss." Bang! On the sky platform, a huge flame minotaur condensed. Kill it now. Qinfeng looked at the 3-meter tall flame minotaur and asked, "Yeah, the boss can be killed when it comes out." The Bamboo Girl nodded. Qinfeng flew a shadow blade. The flame minotaur hadn't even stood firm when he was struck by the shadow blade. Qinfeng took a step forward and raised his hand. Hand of Greed. Fortunately, this boss is level 20, so the benefits are not reduced. Qinfeng was quite satisfied. After the boss died, the teleportation array was activated, and Qinfeng followed the girl to the teleportation array and teleported to the next Lihua platform. After several time, Qinfeng finally got enough evolution points from the gold level bosses that appeared one after another. I can evolve the Robbery Master to the legendary level. You have consumed 550 evolution points, and 58 points are left. Mata. The Thief Epic Arrive Legendary. Use on a single target to permanently steal 1 point of the target's random 4-dimensional attribute. Required level 1. Cooldown 12 Arrive 6-1. 28 hours. Attribute points obtained through this skill. 50 Arrive to 5. New legendary effect. It is no longer limited to monsters, and when used, it obtains the Take It state temporarily steals 20% of the target's current attributes for 10 minutes. Take It is the only gain, which cannot be stacked, and only the highest value is effective. Special effects are here. Qinfeng was a little surprised after listening to the system prompt. I didn't expect the legendary effect of this skill to cancel the usage restriction. Originally, this skill was limited to monsters, but now it can be used on any target, including players, NPCs, and monsters, and there is a new effect when using it. Give it to you. If you hit the boss directly before fighting it, wouldn't it directly reduce its attributes by 20%? Correspondingly, Qinfeng can increase the attributes by 20%. Obviously, this is a means of getting stronger when facing a stronger boss. At present, based on the strongest boss Qinfeng has killed so far, the 4-dimensional attributes of a level 25 diamond level boss are basically between 1,000 and 3,000 points. This before the fight starts, it is equivalent to Qinfeng himself getting 200-600 points of all attributes, and the boss is weakened. Even if it's only 200 points of strength, I can get a temporary 5,000 points of physical attack improvement, and physique, agility, spirit all-round improvement. Qinfeng narrowed his eyes. I have to say, this method is extremely powerful. But if it is given to ordinary players, they may not be able to adapt to it. Because once you get those hundreds of points of agility, both the movement speed and attack speed will be accelerated. And every time you fight a different boss, the temporary stolen attributes are different. So you need to familiarize yourself with your speed every time. Fortunately, for Qinfeng, this adaptability is a basic skill. In addition, this skill can also be used on players. But for me, it's useless. Anyway, there is a limit to permanent attribute stealing. If you want to deal with any players, you might as well pull them into the land of judgment, and directly. In any case, the evolution of this skill to the legendary level still brought Qinfeng a surprise, although this skill comes from the race of the 8-armed Thief Saint. But it is already many times stronger than the skill of the 8-armed Thief Saint. It's a pity that it can only be used once on the same target. Otherwise, when you encounter a boss, just touch it with both hands. Wouldn't it be possible to steal 40% of the attributes? That being said, Qinfeng is already very satisfied with this legendary effect. Just right. You can try the effect when you meet the big-eyed NPC later. Isn't that guy curious? This skill should arouse its curiosity, right? If not, I'll scold him as planned. Qinfeng thought to himself as he raised his hand and killed a gold-level boss with another Shadow Blade. Brother, you are so awesome. The bamboo girl couldn't help but sigh. It took me and the president more than an hour to pass the level recently. My strength has become stronger, so I can save half an hour as a result. My brother killed the gold boss all the way, and it only took 10 minutes. Thinking back to the process of passing the level, the bamboo girl felt a little sad. The old sword fairy was fragile, and she was a summoner. And she didn't increase her physical fitness, so when she encountered the gold boss, the pandas she summoned became the undisputed meat shield. Every time she passed the level, many pandas would be wounded. In the eyes of the bamboo girl, she can exploit the pandas. But if the pandas were injured by others, she would also feel distressed. The bamboo girl narrowed her eyes. Although I will lose one double experience every day in the future, but I can go through the levels with my big brother. It's easy and efficient. So happy. But at this time, Qinfeng was thinking, every time I go through this Bagua formation, there are 8 gold level bosses? Can I rely on this to continuously brush evolution points? The evolution points given by the gold boss are 7 points. The total number of points after the greedy hand is 42 or 49. A total of 8. That is 300 or 400 evolution points. 10 minutes, 300 or 400 evolution points. Wouldn't it be great if this could be brushed infinitely? It's a pity. Qinfeng soon learned from the bamboo girl that this Bagua formation actually, however, you can only break through once a day. If you break through again after leaving, you will be trapped in the first sky platform. If you don't spawn monsters, you can't activate the teleportation array, so you can only choose to quit. It doesn't matter. This Bagua array is probably made by the Big Eyes. Wait until it is invited back to the hiding place and let it make one in the hiding place. Even if it can only be spawned once a day, the benefits are not bad. This is much better than the Golden Magic Talisman. I just don't know how many lifespans are needed to build such a level. Qinfeng knows, even if it is an NPC, it is impossible to create something out of nothing. It must be at the cost of lifespan. But for Qinfeng, the priority of evolution points is definitely higher than lifespan, as long as it is not too outrageous. He can accept it. After stepping on the last teleportation array, Qinfeng and the bamboo girl came to a bamboo valley. In the deepest part of the valley, there is a tower-like building. The tower was built by the president and I using the divine book, and it took us several decades of our lives. The bamboo girl felt a little distressed. The two walked forward. Qinfeng soon saw that on the top of the tower-like building, there was a white spherical object with a diameter of about 3 meters. It seemed to be aware of someone approaching. The white spherical object suddenly cracked. To be precise, it was like an eye open, revealing a golden pupil. A large eyeball with a golden pupil, surrounded by light purple electric light, slowly flew towards the two. Eye of Knowledge Aristotle. Level. You are finally here. I have been waiting for you for a long time. I have a lot of questions to ask you. A child's voice that sounded a little crisp came from the eyeball. Perhaps the race of the Big Eyes originally could not speak, but when they were assigned as NPC, the rules of the godforsaken game not only instilled knowledge of the Daxia language, but also gave them the ability to speak, which was used to communicate with the Blue Star players. As for the voice that sounded like a child, it does not represent their real age. In fact, who is not an experienced person who can be assigned to Blue Star as an NPC. Okay. The bamboo girl pursed her lips, asked, I will tell you as long as we know it. She was quite polite to this NPC. However, answer the question. Qinfeng knew that if he really wanted to impress this NPC and take it away, he could never take the usual way. So, give it to you. Qinfeng raised his hand and used the robbery saint hand that had just evolved to the legendary level on the Big Eye. This method is unique in the entire universe. Just ask if you are curious. You released the Snatcher on Aristotle, the Eye of Knowledge. Banana. You permanently stole 1 point of agility. Man. You gained the Take It. You buff, which lasts for 10 minutes. Banana. Your strength increased by 429. Batia. Your constitution increased by 479. Bye. Your agility increased by 336. Bye. Your spirit increased by 1098. Banana. Since this skill does not belong to the control effect, Even if this NPC has the inviolable affix, it cannot resist it. Not everyone has the contract of Roslav like Qinfeng, which can make the inviolable affix resist all negative effects. However, Qinfeng guessed, because NPCs are all divine beings, his legendary Snatcher skill will suffer some losses when stealing attribute points. According to 20%, the opponent's strength, body, and agility attributes are between 1500 to 2000 points. Even the spirit is only more than 5000 points, but the opponent's actual attributes will be much higher than this value. However, these are not the key. The key is that when Qinfeng raised his hand to release the skill of the Robbery Saint hand, the Bamboo Girl and the Big Eyes were stunned on the spot. Especially the NPC Big Eyes, in that huge pupil. 3 parts of doubt, 3 parts of shock, and 4 parts of disbelief were instantly revealed. What kind of trick is this? The inherited skill of the Star Thief clan? The Robbery Saint hand. No, the Robbery Saint hand can only be used on monsters. When did I become a monster? And what is the effect of Give It To You? It actually temporarily stole so many of my attributes. Who exactly is this Blue Star player? It's obvious. If Qinfeng used this Master of Robbery on other players, the other party would not feel much and would at most curse him with a dead bastard. But for the Eye of Knowledge, it knows too much. So, the more it knows how incredible the means Qinfeng has released are. Almost like a miracle. Discover a new talent that has not been included in the database. A brand new version that has never been seen before. The Eye of Knowledge looked at Qinfeng as if it were a brand new species. It suddenly thought that this was related to Qinfeng's talent. But it never expected. Qinfeng's real trump card is the authority to judge the ancient gods. Blue Star Human, tell me your talent. I am willing to serve you. The white golden pupil stared at Qinfeng. The light purple electric light on the edge of the big eyes became brighter. And the crisp voice came again, with a little desire and eagerness. The Bamboo Girl who saw this scene was confused. She didn't know what happened. But she felt vaguely something seemed to be wrong. This isn't the normal process to answer a few questions from Big Eyes first, then help it do a few things, and then buy double experience status from it? Although I want to bring it back to the hideout, I haven't found any way. Even if I play chess with it every day and lose hundreds of years of life to it, it never mentions that it wants to go back to the hideout with us. Why is it that Big Eyes said he is willing to serve Brother Shadow just after he came? The girl, I don't eat bamboo, was dumbfounded. With a small body and a big question mark, she couldn't understand it. Shadow just met this NPC. What did he do? However, Qinfeng frowned when he saw the situation. Although this Big Eyes is indeed very curious, but there is no direct trigger condition for it to belong to my guild. Qinfeng knew. NPCs in the godforsaken game need to meet specific trigger conditions to bring them back to the hideout. For example, if the 8-armed thief saint is hit to half health, it will automatically trigger and directly belong to the guild of the person who has met the conditions. Just now, Qinfeng thought that the condition for conquering this big-eyed creature was to make it curious. But now it seems this guy is curious, even too curious, and directly said that he is willing to serve Qinfeng. But the conditions for conquering him were not triggered. And this is naturally not the result Qinfeng wanted. After all, he couldn't tell an NPC about his talent anyway. Or trick it into the guild first. So Qinfeng asked tentatively, why don't you enter my guild first? And then I will consider whether to tell you about my talent. Hearing this, the golden pupils of the big eyes blinked. The old man is very bad. Don't try to deceive me. Qinfeng was a little confused. Why am I an old man? Who taught it this? However, as a big-eyed race, humans may all look similar in their eyes, and they may not be able to tell who is old or not. At this time, Qinfeng fell into thinking. From the existing information, it is right to bring this guy home to stimulate his curiosity. But I made it curious about my talent. But it did not automatically trigger the conditions for taming it. The old sword fairy scolded it for half an hour, but it triggered the conditions for taming it. Could it be this automatically triggered taming condition has nothing to do with its curiosity, but only with the number of times it was made curious, scolded the big eyes for half an hour, and said no more than one sentence? It is conceivable that every time the old sword fairy scolded, the big eyes would be curious once. In the end, quantitative change leads to qualitative change. Besides, the emotion of curiosity doesn't seem to be easy to express with degree. So the real condition to trigger this NPC, is it to tell enough information that is beyond its knowledge in a short period of time? For example, 200 or 300 pieces of information that Big Eyes doesn't know in half an hour. Qinfeng has dealt with NPCs many times and has some experience, although these NPCs are all intelligent. But they were sent to the godforsaken game continent of Blue Star and must follow their own rules. These rules are clearly marked like a contract. Once reached, they cannot resist. In that case, I'll just follow the process again. It's just right to use the knowledge I learned before. So, Qinfeng looked at Big Eyes and found that Big Eyes was looking at him with some expectation and pleading. Obviously, it was eager for Qinfeng to tell about his talent and satisfy its curiosity. Unfortunately, Qinfeng was going to disappoint it. Then let's play chess first, in order to avoid deviation. Qinfeng decided to do the same thing as the old sword fairy. Lose 10 games of chess, and then curse. Okay. The big golden eyes nodded excitedly, and quickly flew back to the open space in front of the tall tower building, where there were many chessboards. There is no doubt that these chessboards were also prepared for it by the old sword fairy and the bamboo girl. Qinfeng followed. The bamboo girl was confused, and when she heard that both parties were going to play chess, she naturally followed. In fact, Qinfeng only knew a little about the rules of Gobang, Go, and chess, and his level was completely messed up, although his spiritual attributes were very high and his thinking became more agile. But who would learn to play chess after being reborn? However, the result of playing chess was completely beyond the expectations of Qinfeng and the bamboo girl. The 5 white pieces are connected. You are so awesome. Human. My horse was eaten. My second horse was also eaten. You are so awesome. Human. I lost. Human. You are so awesome. The big golden eyes shouted exaggeratedly. It has no hands, but can use telekinesis to move chess pieces. In the eyes of the bamboo girl, the big eyes, whose chess playing level was comparable to that of a super AI, are now as clumsy as a beginner, clearly giving in to shadow. And the winning or losing of this chess game is linked to lifespan. Lose one game, 20 years of lifespan. The old sword fairy and the bamboo girl lost a lot of lifespan to this NPC before, but now the big eyes lost to Qinfeng one after another, and Qinfeng gained a lot of lifespan. What's going on? This is a win of 10 games in a row. Qinfeng looked at the extra 200 years of life in the attribute column and was confused. The bamboo girl was also confused. How could this situation be different from what she imagined? Just at this time, Qinfeng suddenly started to curse. What do you mean? You let me win when I play chess with you? You look down on me. Right. Do you think I'm a bad player? The Eye of Knowledge, Aristotle, was stunned when he heard this. He wanted to please the human in front of him so that the other party would tell him about his talent. Unexpectedly, he let the other party win 10 games and gave away 200 years of life for nothing. But the human was furious. Before he could reply, Qinfeng didn't give it any chance and cursed directly. What do Yuzi? Brainwads. Ganling Niang. Eating bananas. What little monkey shrunk to death? Thief Zhongzong wanted to eat life, all came out at once. Big eyes. Bamboo girl. They never expected that Qinfeng would suddenly start cursing and couldn't stop. Among them, Bamboo Girl could barely understand a little bit. Obviously, it was the Sichuan dialect, but most of it was incomprehensible to Bamboo Girl. Oh my god. Brother Shadow is too professional. Although I couldn't understand a lot of the words, I knew it was a curse as soon as I heard it. The Bamboo Girl widened her eyes in amazement. The big eyes were even more stunned. Every time Qinfeng spoke a dialect, it would be stunned. It was obvious that those were its blind spots in knowledge. Until 30 minutes later, Qinfeng finally heard the system prompt. Congratulations on saying more than 100 new knowledge points within 30 minutes, triggering the invitation conditions of Eye of Knowledge, Aristotle, and unlocking basic functions. More than 200 new knowledge points, unlocking the advanced functions of Eye of Knowledge, Aristotle. More than 300 new knowledge points, unlocking the advanced functions of Eye of Knowledge, Aristotle. Qinfeng asked Wanye Weiyu, and you and others to help collect curse words. Naturally, he collected all the curse words from all provinces in the country. Most of them are short phrases. If Qinfeng's spiritual attribute was not high enough, he really couldn't remember so many, and they were all from different dialects in different provinces, although some of them were not spoken very standardly. But anyway, the big eyes couldn't understand, but they knew they were curse words. I didn't expect that the advanced functions of this NPC were unlocked. This was a situation that made Qinfeng a little surprised. You know, in the last life, the function he knew about this NPC was to provide double experience gain. Is it because I speak fast and curse fast? Qinfeng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. When he heard this system prompt, he quickly clicked on the function panel of the big eyes in front of him. Eye of Knowledge, Aristotle, currently affiliated with Guild Shadow. Basic function. You can receive a 100% increase in monster killing experience bonus once a day, which lasts for 3 hours. Consumes level x2 years of life. Advanced function. You can set the 8 diagrams formation and counterattack barrier, which consumes a certain amount of life. Advanced function. You can consume life and query relevant information. Friendly reminder. Please query rationally. NPC is not omniscient. Qinfeng was a little surprised after reading the function panel of this big eye. Advanced function. It really provides the 8 diagrams formation. And this counterattack barrier. Qinfeng clicked on the details and took a look. It was found that this counterattack barrier is an additional function that can be added to the defensive barrier of the hideout. After adding it, any enemy attacking the defensive barrier will be counterattacked. Qinfeng has never heard of this method. Obviously, the Shudoshan Guild in the previous life didn't get it either. In other words, in the previous life, the old swordsman scolded the big eyes for half an hour, but didn't reach 200 new knowledge points for the big eyes. It should be that the speed of speech was not fast enough, or the scolding sentence was too long. In this case, this advanced function is even more impossible to obtain. You can consume life to query information. Qinfeng realized that this function is quite useful. You know, this big eye even knows about the Starry Sky Pirates, and its knowledge reserve is absolutely huge. In the future, when you encounter any boss or NPC, you can directly query it, and you don't have to rely on the memory before rebirth. Maybe you can query the location of the last skeleton rune, the location of the tomb runes of the skeleton god. In short, you can ask anything. If the big eyes don't know, there is no need to consume life. To be honest, the function of this Eye of Knowledge is much more useful than the 8-armed thief saint. Of course, The Robbery Saint hand in Qin Feng's hand is also quite good. Just at this moment, the Big Eyes, which had automatically triggered the conditions and belonged to Qin Feng's guild, were a little confused. It was unconvinced and shy. It wanted to know Qin Feng's talent and even made a pitiful sound. "I'm super monster." Qin Feng widened his eyes, feeling that Qin Feng's emotions seemed a little wrong. The Big Eyes froze, and the golden pupils stared at Qin Feng. "Why are you angry?" Means not a subtle and weak cry to attract people's love? Qin Feng held his forehead. "I can only say that you still have a lot to learn. Go back first." He clicked repatriation on the NPC control panel. Then, a white light enveloped the Big Eyes, and 3 seconds later, it was directly teleported back to the hideout of the Evil Spirit Academy far away in the ruins of the Demon City. As the Eye of Knowledge was teleported away, the valley where Qin Feng was located suddenly changed. The entrance to the valley that was originally blocked by white fog disappeared directly and became a smooth road. It seemed that the Bagua formation diagram before they came in disappeared with the departure of the Eye of Knowledge. It was at this time the bamboo girl who had been watching from the side finally realized how wrong the situation was. When she saw the white light around the Big Eyes disappearing from her sight, she was completely dumbfounded. My Big Eyes are gone." At this moment, the bamboo girl felt as if everything had lost its meaning. She never expected that bringing Shadow to this valley would allow Shadow to subdue Big Eyes. Just scold him and he'll be subdued. Is there such a good thing? Should I scold the NPC first when I meet him next time? The bamboo girl wanted to cry but had no tears. And Qin Feng certainly knew the girl's heart. The situation must be very bad. So she smiled and said, "It seems that I am lucky, so I will give you the permissions of the Big Eyes and the Thief Saint. Next time you can come to the ruins of the Magic City to find me. Buy the Thief Saint talisman. Open double experience. All are fine. And I will give you a 10% discount. The Thief Saint talisman, a maximum of 100 pieces can be purchased in a week. Double experience. A maximum of 100 times a week. These are limited. Giving her permission and giving her a 10% discount can also be regarded as a thank you for bringing her into this valley." The bamboo girl didn't expect Qin Feng to say this. Suddenly a little surprised. "Brother Shadow, you are so kind." She just wanted to take back her evaluation of Shadow as a good person. But now it seems that Shadow is really a good person. Although the NPC was taken away, she was given permission. She knew very well how popular the Thief Saint talisman would be. She only bought 50 pieces, and she tasted the sweetness before she used them up. Wouldn't it be more enjoyable in the future? Who dares to offend Shudao Mountain? The Thief Talisman is waiting. Finally done. Qin Feng looked at the 2 NPC names on the guild panel and breathed a sigh of relief. After finishing the work here, he can go back to get double experience and start grinding. The 4th career advancement, half of the experience is still missing. According to this situation, it will be done in 2 days. Qin Feng was about to take the girl back with him when he suddenly received a private message from the Magic City. Wanye Weiyu. "Master, we just got news here that the assassin in the same guild as you seems to have encountered an emerald level boss outside, and it seems that a guild wants to snatch it. If you are not free, do you need us to come forward to solve it?" "An assassin in the same guild as me. Ghost Spirit." Qin Feng quickly realized who the other party was talking about. The boss was snatched by another guild. Qin Feng smiled and replied to Wanye Weiyu, "It's okay. Don't worry. She can handle it herself." Who is Ghost Spirit? In the last life, he was ranked in the top 10 in the world, even though he was alone. He had persisted for so many years under the pursuit of the Daxia official. Now under the guidance of Qin Feng, Giling's strength has already surpassed that of ordinary players. Even if he is not as good as Qin Feng, he is not someone that anyone can mess with. If he can't even solve the problem of snatching a boss, is he still a Guiling? But the emerald boss she mentioned, is it the bloodline monster? The assassin? That I asked her to open. It just so happens that there is a leveling point over there. Open a double experience and go over there. When I get there, the grass on the boss grave should be 3 feet high, right? It's just right to touch the corpse of the emerald boss? Don't waste it. Qin Feng made a decision. He immediately took I don't eat bamboo and flew back to the teleportation array of the Sichuan ruins.